hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Finding Meaning After the Military YouTube channel. I'm your host, Byron Rogers. I'm an author, speaker, and veteran life coach, and I'm here with you today to talk to you about the principle of today. I'm going to try and do some principles every few days, maybe even every other day, so stay tuned. But today's principle is called living for the moment. Okay? Living for the moment. And it's nothing like what you hear the silly villains talking about, like just live for the moment, you have no, one life, kind of YOLO type deal. No, it's something like it, but it's our version. It's the military version of living for the moment. Okay? Do you remember, ladies and gentlemen, when you were in training, when you knew for sure you were going to go to combat? Do you remember that? Do you remember always thinking about that moment, wondering if you were going to live or die? Do you remember committing yourself to your training? Because you didn't know whether or not it was going to be that one extra push-up, that one extra mile, that one extra move, the split second faster that you were because you put in the work that was going to save your life on the battlefield when that faithful moment arose, when it was you and your enemy. Do you remember living for that moment? Do you remember training all the time just so that when you got into combat, you were physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally prepared to be able to deal with the heat, the intensity, the shock of fighting for your life against another intelligent, human being? Do you remember that moment? You remember how it used to drive you through training? It used to cause you to focus. It used to cause you to really commit everything in your being to becoming what it was or who you needed to be in order to survive and be triumphant in battle. Do you remember that lifestyle? You lived faster. You lived harder. When you played wholeheartedly on libo on the weekends, right? When you trained wholeheartedly. Even with everything you did it as best as you could because you knew you were going to go on a deployment and you might die and you might not come back, right? And then we get out, right? And we find ourselves in this 1st Civilian Division and we lose that intensity. That intensity is a key that drives us, causes us to commit to a process that helps us to become successful in whatever chosen endeavor it is that we choose. And at the time it was combat, but now it's something else. Because ladies and gentlemen, no matter where you are, what you look like, what you're doing right now, I know something about you without even having to know you. And this is deep, wait for it. And that's the fact that if you're watching this video, you're still alive, right? I told you it was going to be deep. But anyway, the point is, that moment you were training for, it hasn't come yet. There's still a moment coming in your life when you're gonna be taking your last breath, ladies and gentlemen, and you're gonna be thinking to yourself, was I ready for this moment? Did I live my life in a way that prepared me for this moment? Am I gonna now die honorably, or am I gonna die with the shame and despair of knowing that I didn't do everything I could? See, ladies and gentlemen, we get out of the military and we think just because we were trained for physical combat, we think that combat is over. In all actuality, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, we are entrenched in an intense form of psychological combat within our society, and everyone is. But once your consciousness has been stretched, once you've become a thing, once you've become a warrior, ladies and gentlemen, you can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unknow what you know. You are now a warrior, so you must fight. Now, you can build upon your consciousness. You can build upon what you've seen and what you know and what you've learned. But until then, until you build upon it and you go to school for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years and become a doctor, a lawyer, or do something like that in order to perceive and move through this world differently, you're a combatant and you've got to fight and you've got to find your new fight, whatever it is you're going to commit yourself to do everything necessary so that when that moment comes again, when that moment comes, for me comes again, when that moment comes, you're ready and you can die with honor. So remember to live for that moment because it's still coming. And hopefully that can unlock some passion, some determination, can unlock some meaning for life for you today. That's the thought of the day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Byron Rogers. And until we meet again, until the next video, I want to encourage you, I want to empower you, I want to inspire you, and I want to challenge you to find your purpose, to live with passion, and to reach your destiny. Thank you.